What's up? Welcome to the Ninjababes podcast. I'm pumped for today. I'm here with Lindsay Eskildsen. What's up, Lindsay? How are you?
What's up? How's it going? I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for joining me. I'm really excited to talk and to catch up because I know you've been in the ninja community and then you weren't around and now you're back and we're going to hear about this whole story and what's been going on.
Yeah,
So,
thanks for having me.
yeah, so just could you just give us like a quick who are you, where are you from, what's like current status of life, like where are you calling us from, and then we'll kind of jump into your whole story.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Lindsay Eskildsen. I was born and raised in California, in Northern California, specifically in Sacramento area. I moved out to Huntsville, Alabama, I guess it's been about 4 years now. Um, my husband's out here, so I'm out here with my husband now, and that's where I'm calling in.
Woohoo. Well, it's great to have you. I know that you first got involved with Ninja quite a few years ago, right? So when did you first get involved with Ninja and how did that come about?
So before I even got into Ninja, I was a huge fan of the show. I watched it for years. I'm always sitting there thinking, this is something that I feel like I can do. I have a background in gymnastics and cheerleading, so I've kind of always been athletic. But I just am a huge fan of the show. And then I actually applied in season 8. At that point, I had never been to a ninja gym. I didn't know they existed. I didn't know what ninja was looking for, so I actually didn't get the call. So I ended up testing that year, and then the following year, I competed in season 9. So I kind of started everything in about 2016. So been doing it for a
Wow.
few years now.
Yeah. So back in season 9, how, just like real quickly, were you just in the qualifiers? Did you move on that season? Like how did that go?
So season 9 was actually my best year as a rookie. I came in and I had zero expectations. When I tested, I fell on the floating steps. I fell on the first obstacle.
Okay.
So it was a rude awakening. At that point, I think I've been to a ninja gym twice. So I didn't really know what I was doing. But I came in. I took second place to Jesse Graff. Made it to the semifinals. Took second place again to Jesse Graff, and I made it to Vegas my first year. So it was huge. I didn't expect any of this, so I was just on cloud nine, like dream come true. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
But I went out on the fifth obstacle in qualifiers, so that's kind of how far I made it.
Got it.
So I came back again the next year in season 10, and again I went out in the fifth obstacle. I made it to the semifinals. Didn't do so well in the semifinals, so I didn't make it to Vegas that year.
Hmm.
Um, so that was kind of, and then I also competed on Ninja versus Ninja,
Oh,
and
wow.
then I
Okay.
also competed in Sasuke Vietnam. So that's kind of,
I did not realize that. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It started off I made it to Vegas my first year. Right after that, a couple months later, I competed on Ninja versus Ninja, and then it went season 10, and then I kind of went directly right into Vietnam. So it was a busy 2 years for me.
Wow. What was it like going to Vietnam and
Oh my
competing?
goodness. It was the most amazing experience. The people there were amazing. I loved soaking in the culture. I think
Hmm.
there were 5 American guys, and then I was the one female that went out. But it was just a really cool experience, kind of being part of the international team and going out there and getting to do something I love in another country. So it was awesome.
Wow. That's so cool. Yeah, that's amazing. So, yeah, I know the first time I remember really getting to know you was actually at the National Ninja League. I believe it was season 4, our national finals in
Yes.
Georgia.
Actually, I think it
Yeah,
might have been season 3. I can't remember. It was a while ago. I think it was
yeah,
2018.
that sounds right. Yes. Uh, and it was so great to get to know you then, and I believe you came in second
I
at the,
did.
was that right? Okay.
I did. Right. Yeah. Right behind Olivia.
Yes. And I just remember how exciting it was to get to know you, and so I'm really then just kind of like feel like you disappeared was like, where did
I
Lindsay go?
did. I did.
Uh,
I was MIA for a couple years.
yeah. So could you tell us what happened and what brought you away from Ninja?
Sure. Yeah. So, I did season 9 and season 10, and after that, I kind of took a break. I got engaged and married in 2018 to the love of my life, Joe Green. Yeah. And congratulations to you, by the way.
Oh
Also,
yeah, thank
yes,
you.
as
Yes,
married woman
I know.
now.
I know. I can't wait to talk more
Yeah.
about married life,
Where's it
but
at? Where's it
continue.
at? Let me see.
Ooh.
There we go. Yep. Let's see. I love it. So pretty. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Um, so yeah, so we got married in 2018, and shortly after, I found out I was pregnant. I had Ava Madison, my little girl, in 2019. And then actually after that, I actually did apply for season 12, and I was like, I'm gonna make a comeback. But that's when everything happened with COVID and all that. Um, and I know they kind of pushed back the season, but by the time I got the call, I think calls went out in like June or June, I think. Um, I actually was already pregnant again, so I obviously didn't compete.
Surprise. Yeah.
And then later that year, December 2020, um, I had my son, Houston Eli. So I've been busy. I've been very, very busy, very blessed and
Yes.
very busy.
Yeah. Wow. I can imagine, like, I think so many ninja athletes, especially those who are in childbearing age or those who maybe want to have kids at some point. But there's like this fear of if I just go ahead and make that commitment, maybe they're in a relationship, they want to have kids at some point, but it's like, do I put all this ninja A&W situation on hold like for a few years? And so I really personally love hearing a story where you're able to take that time off, really focus on your family, and even if it wasn't exactly maybe to the T how you would have planned it, it seems like things are working out.
Yeah,
Seems
and
like,
honestly, that for me, and I'm sure as like a lot of the other really strong female athletes, I'm sure that's a big fear they have because it's like
yeah.
you're so passionate about the sport and you don't want to take a break because you're worried that you're never going to get back into it. But at the same time, you don't want to put your life on hold. And I know
Hmm.
probably get into this a little bit later, but it was one of those things where it was really important, for me to try to make a comeback because it's something, I'm passionate about it. This is who I am. So, you know, I'm always worried that other female athletes will put their life on hold because of ninja. But in the end of the day, you know, ninja's
Hmm.
not everything.
Right. Yeah, and it's a good reminder to hear because I know that so many people, not even if it, yeah, even if it's not about kids and like family, there's other aspects of life that I think people do kind of say like, oh well, if Ninja is happening this weekend or if A&W is going to happen during this time frame, I have to not do anything else, can't schedule anything in my life like
Right,
during this time.
right.
And I
There's a
I
whole
get
world
it.
out there. You can't put
Yeah,
your life on hold because of one thing, especially when it's not really paying your bills. You know, there's other
yeah,
things to focus on. But even if you put your life on hold, it doesn't mean it can't be a part of your life in the future. So it's
absolutely. Yeah. So, could you tell us a little bit about what's been like? Tell us more about being married and having your two kids. Like, what has been a favorite memory or like a favorite part of that part of your life? And are
you
you,
know,
as a family, making fitness like a part of your everyday?
I first off, it's always been a dream of mine to just get married and start a family and stuff, and so it's been more than a dream come true. Like it's my world. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
It gives you a whole new purpose in life, and now it's like your priorities definitely change, but your goals are now around your family. They're now around your kids, and it's kind of like giving them a good life and providing a good future and building a legacy, and I love all
Hmm.
that. But we still find time to be active, and it may be in a different way, like maybe we're going on a family hike, or taking the kids to the park, or
Hmm.
going on a little family bike ride. It's not always the same type of fitness, and
Yeah.
and that's okay. A lot of times I like to get my kids involved too. Now that my little 2 year old, he's kind of old enough to kind of see what I'm doing. If I'm doing squats, she's over there and she's doing squats too. And if I'm trying to do like a plank, she's like, "Oh, let me try that." So it's really kind of fun to get them involved.
Yeah. It's so cute. I've seen that with my niece as well, like my sister-in-law, and her oldest daughter now is, I want to say, almost 3, and she'll be doing whatever like workout class like in the living room, and then little Nova will be like following along, and it's like amazing to me that it's not like, oh, that's a workout, I don't want to do it. They just see you moving and see you having fun, and they want to join in.
The kids looked up to you, so it's like anything you
Yeah.
were doing, they want to do too, and it's cute, it's adorable, and plus like they make great little like baby weight vests, so it's like when you're training,
Yeah.
it's perfect. You just strap on a baby. You're like, let me go run the stairs a few times.
Right? Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Um, what has there been any other like favorite parts of like starting this new chapter of your life?
Um, I mean, to me, like I kind of mentioned before, just
Yeah.
I like the fact that it gives you a whole new purpose in life, because when you're single and it's just kind of all about you or your boyfriend or whatever,
Hmm.
um, it's fun. You go on your own adventures, you do things for yourself, but it's a whole new like challenge, just kind of like your life changes, your priorities change, but it's one of those
Yeah.
things that like makes your heart so full, when you
Yeah.
do something for someone else and you're giving everything, pouring your whole life and purpose into something else, and just to see your kids smile or learn something new, it's like wow, like you know I created this little person and now they're just learning and smiling and they're happy, and like the other day my daughter woke up and the first thing she said, she looked at me and said happy, and I just wanted to start crying. Like,
Aw.
it was so cute. Like, it's her new thing, and I'm like, I love that. Like, that's just so sweet. I don't know. It's such an incredible feeling, just knowing that you created this human and they're learning and growing, and you can kind of shape and mold them how you want
Yeah.
to.
That's really cool to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So when you, during the time that you were, having kids and getting ready for this, being in a new season of life and all this, what were you thinking about going back to Ninja or applying for A&W again? Was it kind of like a question, or was it like, I want to do this as soon as I can?
Um, in the back of my mind, I always knew that I wanted to try to make a comeback if possible. I just
Yeah.
didn't know if it was possible.
Got
So
it.
it was timing wise. It's one of those things where you know how it works. Like you have to apply at a certain time. You have to
Hmm.
kind of start training at a certain time. And I mean, usually when I'm training, I'm kind of training almost year round. Like you want to be strong and feeling good year round, and then you kind of ramp it up at the end. It was obviously
Hmm.
going to be very different for me. I had Houston in December. So that's
Wow.
timing wise, that's tough. Applications were due
Yeah.
pretty much right at the
Before.
time he was born. And to be honest, I
Wow.
opened up the application, I started it, and I was like, there's no way right now. There's no way. So I closed it and I shut my computer and I
Wow.
was like, it's not going to happen.
Wow.
I ended up getting a call, or maybe it was an email from one of the producers, and we're like, hey, we noticed that you started to apply, and you're one of the strong athletes in the past, and we would love to kind of open it back up for you to finish your application. And I'm like, really, you would do that?
Wow.
And so I was like, you know what, now or never. Like
Yeah.
I had a lot of doubts in my mind, and I was like, but I won't even have the opportunity unless I at least apply. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I have zero footage. First off, it was COVID. Second off,
Yeah.
I was pregnant, and I had nothing. So mine was gonna be purely like story, you know,
Hmm.
which I know they like. So I put together what I could, and I think I actually set my application off January, like middle of January.
Okay.
So at this time, I still hadn't been cleared to work out, and actually, I honestly had some complications with my healing that took
Hmm.
a little longer to heal this time than my first baby.
Hmm.
So I just didn't even know if it was going to happen. So I went ahead and applied, and I did get the call, and then I kind of was freaking out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what did I get myself into? But I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
now or never, let's just do this. And I looked at the calendar. I knew I had about 6 weeks to get ready, and I hadn't even been cleared to start working out yet. So
Wow.
it was a little terrifying. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yeah, but it was just something that I knew I wanted to try to make a comeback. I felt like after having Ava, I kind of feel like I lost myself a little bit, and I'm sure a lot of new moms kind of do lose themselves. You're pouring everything into this new baby, and you're figuring it out, and it's so time consuming, and they're needy when they're small. They need a lot of attention, and you kind of like forget the things that you're passionate about, and you forget what makes makes you you. So for me, it was really important to kind of like push myself to get back out there and do something that I'm passionate about. I've always loved fitness. It's kind of been it's very therapeutic for me.
Hmm.
And it's one of those things that just, it's always been a part of me. So I kind of felt like it was not saying it's my identity, but it's just something that I've always enjoyed. So
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to kind of get back out there. And my main goal this year was basically to help inspire all the other moms to kind of, not lose themselves and know that they can still follow their passions even though they have kids. So that's
Yeah.
was a big thing that was really important to me.
Well, I would say you achieved that goal. From watching the episode on A&W, it was definitely like, wow, this woman is amazing. And yes, she is a mom and just, gave birth to something amazing, but now she's also going after her dreams and putting it all together. And it was like, it wasn't like you left being a mom at home. It was like you brought that into who you are on the course this
I
season.
love that you say that because that's really what I was hoping to do. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
so cool. So then what did it feel like when you stepped up on the platform and qualifying?
You know, it was so different this year than any other year. Um,
Mm,
like I said before in the past, I've always trained kind of almost year round for this, and I've always been really active. So
yeah,
knowing that I only had 6 weeks to train, and in reality more like 4 weeks, because those last 2 weeks I'm more so like just trying to not be sore so I can just be ready to compete. So I only
hmm,
had about a month of hard training. So
right,
um, my confidence wasn't where it usually was. My strength and endurance was nowhere, where I'm used to being.
hmm,
So it was different starting coming up there. But I had a whole different purpose. I wasn't there to be
right,
like, I'm gonna go, do the best I've ever done. Because let's face it, I wasn't where I'm used to being. It was more so like I'm gonna go there and prove to all the moms that they can do this, and just trying to spread a message. So it was very
wow,
different coming to to the starting line. Um, and also the one thing that was really different this year was the no audience thing.
yes,
It's very different. Like, I get really nervous when I compete. So, when you come into that starting line, usually my legs are like shaking, and all of a sudden, there's lights, cameras, and the whole audience. So it's nerve wracking. So I think this was a good year to come back because to me, I was still nervous, but it was a little less nerve wracking without like a
hmm,
million people staring at you.
yeah. I was gonna say, I know for me on the starting block, because there was no audience, it felt a lot more like intimate to my own thoughts and my own personal
Very much
experience.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I
Mhm.
was wondering if you felt that way, which you did as well. So
No, yeah, and it's true, and plus this season was much more of a mental game for me since I knew I wasn't physically there as much. I would try to really focus more on my mental game, and so I felt like I
hmm,
could do that even more so because it was just me and the course, and that's kind of
yeah,
how I like it to be, me and the course.
yeah. That's awesome. So then I know probably many of us watching or listening, watching today saw your episode, but where did you end up? And can you just, what could you share from the course itself? How did it feel?
Yeah, sure. So I ended up making it to the fifth obstacle, which I was completely blown away by, to be honest. Like I said, I had zero expectations. I didn't really know. My strength and my endurance wasn't there, so I knew I was going to take my time on the course. I know you have about 30 seconds in between each obstacle. I was going to max out those 30 seconds and just try to be really smart and just try to be efficient and get on and off the obstacles because I knew I didn't have the strength. I knew I wasn't going to be holding my L's. So when I did things, I was more so straight arm. But for me, that's what I had to do. And I have been an athlete my whole life, so I knew that I was going to have to basically trust my technique and trust my experience, um, and just kind of get on off the obstacles as quick as I could.
Yeah. It is pretty
Oh,
amazing how like that muscle memory of like,
I was
okay, I
about to
know,
say muscle memory.
yeah, like I
It's
know the right
crazy.
thing to do. It just kicks
It's
in.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's one of those things where like you're like, oh yeah, I totally know what to do. It doesn't necessarily mean you have the strength to do it, but your
Hmm.
body it just knows what to do. Like if you know how to
Yeah.
swing, you know how to swing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so that it was I really had to trust that, which was hard.
Yeah. Well, you did amazing, and I
Thank
loved
you.
I loved watching your video, and I don't know anyone who didn't get like choked up watching your run
Aw.
because it was like very emotional, very like inspiring, and I feel
Oh,
like those
thank
are
you.
the quintessential like words. It's inspiring, whatever. Like people
You
always say
know,
that, but like it was so real, and I know you, and so I was like,
and
oh
that's the thing. It's like I wasn't putting on an act out there. It was so raw. It was so
yeah,
just me just kind of pouring my heart and just kind of
hmm,
doing my thing, let my body just take over, and whatever happened happened. And that balance obstacle, let me just tell you about that. I don't know if you saw my
yes,
the dominoes,
oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know. So balance is by far the most sketchiest, nerve-wracking part of the whole course, you know? Like when I'm a little bit nervous, I feel like my legs just want to shake. And so, that's just, and then it's hard to train for balance, And I didn't train hard for balance because to me, I feel like it's one of those things that it's easy to hurt yourself on. And
Hmm.
because I didn't have a lot of time to train, it's like, okay, all I wanted to do was train as hard as I could, but not hurt myself.
Yeah.
So when I got out there, I knew I was going to do the dominoes just because I felt like it was kind of like, I like the quick feet for momentum. But like I said, my agility was not quite up to par as where it's used to being. So
Yeah.
I tried to do what I could, but I felt like that third step on that domino, it just like fell out from underneath me. And I was like, oh, great, here it goes, I'm going swimming. But somehow it just kind of like took me right to the platform. And at that point, I'm just
Yeah.
I was like halfway on, halfway off. I rolled to safety and I'm just like in
Yeah.
shock. And the first thing I
Literal,
thought was like, this
literal
is going to
roll.
make for some good TV.
So true. You're not wrong. So funny. Oh man. So we'll see you in semifinals, correct?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
I came in second for the women and 25th overall, which that's the highest I've ever
Amazing.
placed. So that was like I think one other time I made it in the top 30. So that was like blew
Cool.
my mind. Did not expect it. So I was like, I can't believe this. So it
Yeah.
was a good run for me.
That's so good. I love it. Oh, so cool. So, what are you looking forward to in the future? Do you have goals, either for ninja or fitness or for your family? Like, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't necessarily have any crazy goals. I just know that I want to continue to be active. Obviously, it's a lot harder because you have different priorities, and I'm also working right now too. So,
Yeah.
time is limited, but I still like to be active when I can. I made it into the ninja gym a few times here and there, not as many as I would like, but we've been going on bike rides and. I have my husband got a bunch of like workout equipment, so I've been kind of trying to work out in the garage a little bit and doing what I can around the house. But just in general, I like to stay active. I feel better when I'm active. It's very therapeutic to me.
Yeah.
And family goals, pretty much, I just want to build good memories with my family. I'm all about like building good memories. So whether it's traveling or going on an adventure, I just always want my kids to kind of get to experience different things. I'd rather have them to have like good experiences than to have like material things.
Yeah.
What's other going on a hike or going somewhere that's gonna build a good memory, um, and then also just in what was the other part of the question?
Oh, those were the two questions. Yeah.
Oh,
Fitness
okay.
goals or family
I
goals.
feel like I'm missing something.
You nailed it. You got it. Yeah. No, that's great. And I think that it's so valuable and I'm sure as time
Oh,
goes on, like,
so
oh, yeah.
there is one more thing I did want to say.
Oh, go for it.
So as far as fitness, obviously I like to just continue to be active because that's kind of my thing. But I do feel like I have a little bit of unfinished business on the course. I've now made it to the fifth obstacle 3 times,
Okay.
and it's killing me. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I feel like I can train and be where I used to, but you never know unless you try. But
Yeah.
if all the stars align again and I can get another chance to get back on that course, I would love to. I would love to get past that fifth obstacle. And who
Hit
wouldn't
that
love?
buzzer.
Thank you. Who wouldn't love just to say they can get a buzzer?
Yeah.
And especially as a mom, that would be amazing. And just to show my kids and it's for all the other moms. I do feel like I have unfinished business on the course, but I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and do it again. I have no idea. We'll have to kind of see where I'm at when the time comes, but I would love to have one more chance to prove myself.
Absolutely. I will be cheering for you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I do have one more question for you before we get to the bonus section, but I wanted to say first that for anyone who is listening, we have some bonus content coming up that is purely just for our Patreon subscribers. And so, if you would like to be a subscriber, that basically means that you're helping to support the Ninja Babes podcast. You're helping to make all of these interviews happen, and we can't do it without you. So, head on over to patreon.com/, Ninjababes, and you'll be able to find all the different levels of how you can donate and be a part of our monthly subscription. So the last question I have for you before we move on is just what advice do you have for other moms out there listening who either, want to try something like Ninja or get involved, but they feel like they don't know how to start, they have kids, they have a lot going on, or just any passion that they feel like they've had to put on the back burner because of having children?
Sure. I mean, it's definitely not easy, but it is doable, and I'm proof it is doable. Someone kind of once told me that you can do anything, you just can't do everything.
Mm,
It's like, okay, I want to do ninja. I want to learn how to play the guitar. I want to do this. Yeah, you're not going
yeah.
to be able to do everything. And you're going to have to make sacrifices. But, like, let's say right now, this is my one really big goal. It's like, it's possible. You can do it. You just have to be really smart with your time and, make sure the kids are taken care of first. And then, you might be losing a little sleep. But, you have to just be smart. Like, I trained a lot when my kids were sleeping. I trained when they were sleeping at night. I got my
Mm,
kids involved. I did what I could around the house. You just gotta have to get creative. It's definitely possible and it's
mhm.
definitely doable, but you are gonna have to make sacrifices. So um, don't give up on your dreams. It's worth it, and your kids are watching, and you want them to know what dreams are. So I think it's really important that you still find what your passions are and still pursue those. But obviously, take care of the kids first.
Yeah. No, that's so valuable to hear. And I just this week at I don't know Worlds had actually a mom who was saying like, "Oh, do you have any podcasts with moms?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do actually." And there'll be a new one coming out soon, so I was really excited to tell her
That's
that I was going to be
awesome. That's
interviewing you.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
very
you
cool.
are your story is valuable, and so I just thank you so much for sharing with us
That
today.
means the world. Like that's the one thing I wanted this year was just to be able to spread my message. So this means everything to me.
Yay. Well, we're going to head on to the bonus section. I believe that you have some special show and tell, but I wanted to say to everyone who's watching that I realized that I usually always have bangs. So if you're wondering why I look different today, it is because the bangs are not there. They're bobby
Switching it
pins.
up.
They're
Oh,
pins
there we
back.
go. There's the bangs.
Yeah. So in case anyone's like, can't figure out why she looks different today,
Yeah.
that's why. And they will be back. Don't worry. So let's move on. We're gonna move on over to bonus land. So if you could just say goodbye to our regular listeners.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me, and thanks for tuning in, and listening. Be strong. Be you. Be a ninja babe.
Woo-hoo.
Woo! I love it. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for having me. It's an
Yeah.
honor to be a part of this. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
I'm so happy to have you.